Okay, good evening everyone. So in the last class we have seen about how the three different classes are there. So I hope you remember those factors. First one is cruise and acceleration vehicle (CAV). Second one is re-entry vehicle with winged configuration. Third one is re-entry vehicle with non-winged configuration. Okay. So today we are going to see about the first configuration, that is cruise and acceleration vehicle. So we will be focusing on aerothermodynamic design problems of wing air breathing vehicle. So here they have mentioned air breathing vehicle. Okay. So under that we are going to see general configuration aspects, highly coupled lift and propulsion system. Okay. So when we speak about air breathing, the term air breathing indicates that it is going to fly in the atmospheric condition. Okay. So mostly in earth atmospheric condition, because in re-entry vehicle it is going into the outer space and then it is going to enter into any planetary mission, or it is going to re-enter into earth atmosphere, right? So here CAV is focused with only under the earth atmosphere. Okay, so please be clear with that. So I will share that in a previous slide once again, so that you can look at the type of aircraft we are going to focus on. So the type of aircraft for cruise and acceleration vehicle, we are focusing with Sanger vehicle. Okay, Sanger. So in the last class itself, I have told Sanger is two-stage to orbit, which means the black color surface, it is the lower stage, and also it is called as first stage. Okay, whereas the gray color structure indicates the upper stage or second stage. Okay, so the black color look aircraft body, right? So it looks like an aircraft structure. So it is going to fly in only earth atmosphere, right? Earth atmospheric condition, mostly in the upper stratosphere. So whereas this second stage will be allowed to launch into the space and it can perform the mission according to the requirement. And remember one thing, this is a conceptual design. Till now it has not entered into the experimental phase. Okay. So we will be learning in this session how this cruise and acceleration air breathing vehicle is going to be designed. Okay, and what is the importance of this design and how we can implement the same concept in the futuristic hypersonic vehicles also. So without wasting much time, we can move to the session. So some vehicle shape considerations. So in the last class itself we have seen that the vehicle configuration of cruise and acceleration vehicle is slender in shape. So in every aircraft we are like supersonic aircrafts or transonic aircrafts, we will be preferring slender in shape than blunt in shape, right? Whereas subsonic aircrafts, blunt shape is fine, but when it comes to the transonic and supersonic as well as hypersonic, we will be preferring slender in shape, okay, because it is going to fly in earth atmosphere condition. So here the air breathing hypersonic flight vehicles are drag sensitive. So similar to the like an aircraft, right? So when there is an aircraft, we will always, as a designer point of view, we will always think to reduce the drag force, right? So similarly in hypersonic vehicle also, that is most important thing is when it is flying in earth atmosphere, cruise and acceleration vehicle, we have to reduce the drag. So that is the ultimate aim, like other aircrafts. Okay. So the smaller the drag, the required installed engine performance, right? So as well as like as much as the drag is small, the required engine performance is also small, and fuel consumption will be also like depending upon the mission, right? So the fuel tank can be also reduced, right? So depending upon the requirement, so drag need to be small. So the general factor of like drag of an aircraft consists of skin friction drag, farm drag, and induced drag. So those things you might have learned in introduction to aeronautics itself, right, in your first year or second year. So the ultimate aim of this particular session is to understand how this Sanger aircraft has been developed, how the structure of Sanger aircraft and hypersonic air breathing with propulsion system, how it has been designed. Okay. So let's see. So wave drag is playing a vital role when it comes to higher Mach number, right? So when we speak about subsonic aircraft, Mach 0.3, 0.5, less than 0.6 we can say. At that time, the subsonic aircraft, the most important drag will be like induced drag. Okay. But when it comes to the higher subsonic or transonic regime, or even after that, okay, supersonic or hypersonic, wave drag is playing the vital role. Okay. So here also in cruise and acceleration vehicle, wave drag is playing the vital role. Okay. So in order to keep the wave drag small, CAV as well as ARV. So what is ARV? Anyone? You can also type in the chat. What is ARV? Ismail or Harshil? Any idea about ARV? CAV is cruise and acceleration vehicle, right? CAV is cruise and acceleration vehicle. What is ARV? No idea. Okay. Ascent and re-entry vehicle. I think you have not attended the previous session, right? Ascent, re-entry vehicle. So I will share one small video regarding the same, how the ARV will be working, because we have seen that ARV is the futuristic concept, right? Futuristic concept, and we have seen Lockheed Martin's Venture Star. There is a like conceptual design is going on with NASA's help. So that is called as Venture Star ARV vehicle. Okay. So along with this video, I will narrate that what is happening in that conceptual design. Okay. So in the screen, you are seeing that the Venture Star, which is single stage to orbit. Okay, SSTO. So as I shared the screen like previously, I told Sanger aircraft is having two stage to orbit, which means there is a lower stage and upper stage. But ARV is coming under the category of single stage to orbit. Okay, so let's see how it is there working. So when it comes to a single stage to orbit, first thing we need to keep in mind that there is no external tanks. So if you see that rocket launching, right, with space capsules or space shuttle configuration, surely we need a external tank or solid boosters, right, to lift off. So the solid booster or external tank will be considered as first stage, and our orbiter will be considered as second stage. But the most interesting fact about this ARV is they are going to have only one stage configuration, that is single stage to orbit concept. But this is still under the conceptual design. Okay, not at all experimentation has been done. The conceptual design under that. Okay. So this ARV will be launched from Earth surface, and it will be reaching to the outer space and performing the required mission, whether it is International Space Station or with any other planetary mission, it will perform that, and it will come back to Earth. Okay. So with one stage, with a single stage, it will be performing the required mission. Okay. So let's see how it will be done. So I will be skipping little bit part because it will take lot of time to like it will consume a lot of time. Okay, so I will skip a little bit and I will explain what is happening over there. So once it is reaching the certain altitude, it will be allowed into like a orbital transfer will be done, and it will be revolving around the Earth. So here you can see that V star indicates the Venture star and International Space Station. So both are revolving in different orbits. So what Venture star is trying to do is just it is trying to dock with International Space Station so that it can, whether it can be a manned mission or unmanned mission and any other mission, right? So it can perform the mission and it can successfully re-enter into Earth atmosphere. So with this single stage to concept, we don't need external tanks. So we are saving much more cost, right? Cost efficiency will be greater than any other platforms in the launching systems in the world. Okay, because nothing has been developed with this concept. So if with this concept is successful, surely it is going to be a revolutionary in the aerospace sector. So undocking can be done and it can re-enter into Earth atmosphere, like Earth surface. So after re-entering, it can land as like an aircraft. Okay. So although it is taking vertical takeoff, but while re-entering, it will land like an aircraft, which is very similar and common with the space shuttle configuration. Okay. So it may looks like easy to visualize that. In video it is fine. It can be done easily. But as an engineer, we have to think that how we are going to make this possible, right? So what are the requirement? What are the preliminary requirement, right? So first of all, we need a propulsion system, right? As a general thing, we have to think about like how the space shuttle has been launched, how the space capsule has been launched. Both have done with external tank, right, or external boosters. So how we are going to develop a propulsion system with single stage to orbit concept. Okay, so propulsion system is one of the factor we have to think. So the next factor is how we are going to maintain the stability of the vehicle, right? So that is another important factor. So we are going with winged configuration. That is fine because that is necessary since we are going with single stage to orbit concept. So how we are going to maintain the stability? So the third thing is structure, right? Because we are going to launch at a huge, like greater Mach number. Mach, it can reach up to Mach 30 while re-entering. So think about the scenario. So structure need to be withstand and communication avionics system. So all the specialized area of aerospace sector has to come up with the better development ideas and innovation techniques for this development of ARV. Okay, ascent and re-entry. But why we are including that concept with CAV itself? Although ARV is performing space missions, but when it is under Earth atmosphere, it is going to act like a cruise and acceleration vehicle. CAV. Okay. So that's why the ARV concept will be like whatever the design aspects we are going to learn, it will be covered with CAV itself. Okay, it will be covered with CAV itself. So the shape need to be slender in shape. So because to get the wave drag small, and also we need to fly at small angle of attack. So if you see the last session we have covered with CAV, angle of attack need to be small. The reason why we need to fly with small angle of attack, because we need to create less drag, right? Less drag can be created with small angle of attack. Give me 1 minute.
Sir, your mic is mute. Sir, sir, your mic is mute. Sir, grease madam, sir. मैं तो म्यूट कर उठा हमारा कितना मैं तो அதான் அவனும் லிங்க் கொடு மறுபடியும் அவன் தான் முயற்சி அது உள்ள போய் பார்த்தா தெரிஞ்சிச்சு கன்வியூட் பண்ணாதான் தெரியும் சார் கிரீஸ் மகேந்திரன் சார் இது நமக்கே நெட் கம்மியாக தான் இருக்கும் உனக்கு
அப்படிதான் மியூட் ஆகாதுண்ணா நான் அதான் உனக்கு இந்த இடத்துல உட்கார்றேன் அங்கே
மற்ற நேரம் தான் நல்லா தான் இருக்கு யூடியூப்ல கரெக்டாக ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் ஆகுது
இங்கே தள்ளி எதுக்கு உட்காந்துக்கோ அது
எனக்கு தான் சவுண்டு கேட்கல யூடியூப்ல இருக்கு
அப்போ நீ அவனை பேசினதான் அவன்கிட்ட கேட்டிருக்கா சரி ஓகே yes, there was a question like but sir, a single stage will always take more fuel so as to reach a required velocity than the multi-stage. Yes, of course, that's why we are saying that this is a futuristic concept, Harshil. Till now we have not got any perfect solution for that, but think about that advantages and disadvantages, right? So if we can get this concept in like cost wise, right? So the futuristic space tourism or any other missions, it can be done, right? So there are a lot of things we have to do with this ARV, but it can be done. Okay. So the angle of attack need to be small, right? So at hypersonic flight Mach numbers, hypersonic Mach numbers, right? Flight Mach numbers, the slenderness ratio. So I hope you have heard about this slenderness ratio. It is nothing but half span, a ratio between half span and length of the fuselage. Okay, length of the fuselage. So we are going with swept wing, right? Of CAV or ARV, we are going to have a swept wing where span length, half span length divided by length of the fuselage need to be 0.3. The ratio need to be, slenderness ratio need to be 0.3. So why we are going with less value? Why we are not going with a higher value? Why we are going with a less value? Because you have to think about the configurations, right? So structure configurations, you have to think about that. So the first reason is about having a lateral or directional stability. So even though we are saying that cruise and acceleration vehicle which can fly from 0 to 7 Mach, but time to time it can fly at 0.3 also or 0.7 also, Mach number, right? Mach number 0.3, which is subsonic regime, right? Which is subsonic regime. So when we are flying at this subsonic regime with this slenderness ratio, so slenderness ratio is length of the fuselage and half span, ratio between half span. So span length is very less comparing to the fuselage length. So when we are flying at this subsonic regime, even the hypersonic aircraft, it is going to fly in a subsonic regime, it will lose the stability. Okay, it will lose the stability. So in order to bring that vehicle, hypersonic vehicle, stable, we need to develop a double delta wing configuration or OGI wing configuration. Okay, OGI wing configuration. So how it will be going to helpful, the double delta and OGI wing. We can see that in the later, but just you try to understand that in hypersonic aircrafts, that is cruise and acceleration vehicle, we need to have slenderness ratio less than 0.3 and our stability is not going to be good at lower speed, is not going to be good at lower speed. So in order to make the aircraft more stable, we are using double delta wing and OGI wing. Okay, so I will explain in the later slides why we are using double delta and OGI wing. So here another important factor we are going to learn is about integration of lift and propulsion system. So integration of lift and propulsion system. Lift means nothing but aerodynamics. Okay, so how we are going to integrate the aerodynamic and propulsion system of CAV? It is very much important because think about that, we are going to use ramjet or scramjet. At the same time, we want the vehicle to stable also, right? Without stability, even if you can fly with Mach 30 or Mach 20, whatever the speed it was, without stability or without controllability, we cannot fly the vehicle, right? So we need to think in all aspects. So as an engineer, we have to think about all the aspects. Okay, I have developed a propulsion system, so just I will install that and I will fly a hypersonic vehicle. It should not be like that. We have to think in all the directions. Okay, so the best method to develop an CAV, cruise and acceleration vehicle, is integration of lift and propulsion system. Hello.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yes, who is this?
Sir, this is target representative from UPA,
Yes.
and I was assigned internship for hypersonic vehicle at Wingcup Aero.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I have my session scheduled from 6 p.m.
Yes.
This evening,
Yes.
and I have tried loading the website, and I logged in and tried to get into the training room, loaded my website again and again, but it is not loading. I mean, I'm getting.
Oh, conference. Yes, see, right now the classes are going on only. Either other students have joined there successfully. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to get it. Can you repeat it?
The classes are going on only. The other students have joined there successfully. So, would you like which browser you are using right now?
The Chrome.
In laptop only, right?
In laptop.
So, I think there is no issue in that web page. What is the problem it is showing right now?
Like the page is not loading itself. I'm just getting the heading hypersonic vehicle and training room is not opening. I'm not accessible to me. I clicked this picture and also shared it to the contact I got from group and to my faculty. So they said me to contact you directly. I called your other number as well, which is available on website, but there wasn't any.
No, actually, right now I am taking the session, so that's why they have not disturbed me. Okay, I will try to rectify the issue. You just try to join. Otherwise, the same recording is available in the platform itself. So I will solve your issue once I finish this session. Okay.
Okay, sure, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, Harshil, have you logged in with your UPS ID? Harshil? One of your friend is facing the problem to log in. That's why I'm just want to confirm whether which email ID you have used. Harshil, are you there? My own ID. Okay, fine. Okay. Then I will look into the issue. Okay. right? So how we are going to integrate? So just look into the diagram. Just look into the diagram. So how we are going to integrate the lift as well as propulsion system of a CAV. So first of all, from the diagram you can understand that we are going to use double delta wing configuration, right? So double delta wing configuration is implemented in CAV also. Okay, it is implemented in CAV, cruise and acceleration. So here another parameter is given, that is design forebody to meet aerodynamic, engine inlet and volumetric requirements. So the lower surface of the CAV, cruise and acceleration vehicle, lower surface of the cruise and acceleration vehicle will be looking like, it is going to help for lift generation, for pitch of movement, right? Pitch of movement as well as lift generation, and also the forebody section, right? So the forebody means from the nose to the engine inlet. Okay, so they will be calling it as forebody inlet. Okay, so from the nose to engine inlet, it will be called as forebody section. So the lower side of a cruise and acceleration vehicle need to be designed in aspect of aerodynamic as well as propulsion system. So why it is going to help for propulsion system? Because we need to compress the air, right? The first thing is we need to compress the air, and also we need to reduce the speed of the air, right, before entering into the engine. So this general factors we need to develop. But here we are not going to have any rotating parts, right? Like supersonic vehicle or hypersonic, transonic vehicle. We are not going to have any rotating parts, right? So we have to compress the air with the help of vehicle structure itself. So the forebody section of cruise and acceleration vehicle need to be designed with the concept of both aerodynamics as well as propulsion system. So that's why this is called as integrated lift and propulsion system in hypersonic vehicle. So the propulsion system plays a major role, right? So with regard to the slenderness of the whole vehicle, which we have just seen. So the size of propulsion system package is first of all governed by the necessary capture area of the inlet. So as I told earlier, if we use ramjet, we can achieve up to Mach 7. If you use scramjet, we can achieve up to 14 Mach 14. So whichever the engine type configuration we are selecting, the required inlet area will be also varying accordingly. So this capture area can be done if forebody pre-compression is employed. So what is mean by pre-compression? Before entering in the inlet, we need to do the compression. So pre-compression, they are using the term called pre-compression. So which indeed is the rule of air-breathing hypersonic vehicle, right? That is the basic thing of propulsion system, right? I hope you are already learned how the ramjet and scramjet engine is working. So we need to do the pre-compression even in the ramjet engine configuration, right? So this pre-compression is achieved by inclination of forebody surface ahead of inlet. So only one thing they have mentioned, how we can achieve the pre-compression, by making the lower body. So just consider a side view of the vehicle. If I am having a flat side view, right? So the side view, if I am giving a flat side view, what will happen when the air hits? When air hits, so there will be surely the velocity will be reduced in the nearby boundary layer, right? Nearby boundary layer, the velocity will be reduced. It is for flat surface. But when I am making an inclination, the forebody is inclined, so more pre-compression will be done, right? More pre-compression will be done. So they are giving an idea that we need to achieve this pre-compression by inclination of forebody. So the lower surface of the forebody need to be developed with the particular angle. Okay, from the nose, there should be a inclination. There should not be a flat surface. Flat surface should be avoided. There should be an inclination. Then only we can achieve the pre-compression. Okay, pre-compression of the engine inlet, so that we can successfully help that for propulsion system. So how we are going to get the successful propulsion system? Because we are going to develop a single stage to orbit concept, or even it is a cruise and acceleration vehicle. So to implement that, we need a special type of nozzle. Okay, so engine inlet, now we have understood, right? Engine inlet, surely the forebody will help us, because the inclination will help us to increase the pressure, right? When there was a surface with the angle, it will help us to increase the pressure than the flat one. Okay, so the next term we are going to see is design of nozzle aft body, after the body. Okay, so this is the entire structure. So aft body design for thrust. First thing is thrust, right? When we are designing a nozzle, of course it is going to helpful for thrust. But apart from helping thrust, the same structure, the rear end structure, is going to help for stability and as well as low trim drag. So first thing you need to understand that in cruise and acceleration vehicle or ARV vehicle, we are having slenderness ratio less than 0.3, and we are going with double delta wing configuration or OG wing type of configuration. So in Sanger vehicle, right, all we are studying with Sanger vehicle, CAV. Okay, the reference we are taking with Sanger vehicle. So the forebody is going to help for pre-compression, pressure will be increased, velocity of the flow will be decreased. And the rear end, that is nozzle section, aft body nozzle section, that is going to help for thrust, and apart from thrust, it is also going to help for stability. Okay, so how it is going to help for stability, that we need to study, right? Because we can simply say that there is a nozzle and it is going to helpful for stability. Thrust, okay, we can understand nozzle is going to help for thrust, but how it is going to help for stability and control of the cruise and acceleration vehicle. So before thinking of like too much about this configuration, India has also developed a same replica of this work, and they have done a successful testing. So how they have done that? HSDTV. Okay, so India has also done the same type of hypersonic vehicle testing. In last year September, they have done the successful testing of HSDTV. So it is also coming under the category of cruise and acceleration vehicle. Okay, so let's see the configuration how they have developed. So first thing is, you can see the forebody section, right? So this is the side view of the cruise and acceleration vehicle. அவன் வேலை பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கான். ஆமா. Okay, sorry. Harshil has told that, sir, how can we compress subsonic flow in this design? So the thing is, like for CAV, so that is again a challenge when it comes to the initial ignition, right? Initial ignition. So I will show that how they are performing this, like from subsonic flow to supersonic and hypersonic flow. I will show a separate video how they are making and a successful turbo ramjet combination. Okay, so this compression for subsonic flow can be done in hypersonic vehicle also by introducing turbo ramjet combination. Okay, Harshil, but I will show the video of that, like how they are performing this combination. Okay, so you have to wait little bit. So first of all, I will explain this HSDTV, how they have done and how it is very similar to our CAV, cruise and acceleration vehicle. So as I told, we are having a 4-body section from nose to inlet. So similarly, you can see here in nose section of HSDTV, same is implemented here, right? 4-body. So here we are having an inlet. So it is made with an inclination. So it is not a flat surface, it is made in a inclination. So the first point of pre-compression, DRDO has successfully done that. Okay. So the next thing which we have covered today is double delta wing, OGI wing configuration or double delta wing configuration. So here you can see that, so there is the first delta and here we will be having the second delta. Okay. So two delta wing configurations. I will show you top view angle so you can see the double delta configuration clearly. Okay. And the third one is we have studied today is the nozzle section. So here also you can see that there is a expansion in the nozzle rear end, right? Rear end of the HSDTV. So here also you can see we are having an expansion. Okay, we are having an expansion. So the same method what we are learning right now, DRDO has implemented in HSDTV and they have done that successful flight in 2020, last year September. Okay, you can we have separately given a session. I have given a session on this topic which is available in the YouTube, so you can learn more about this HSDTV in that. Okay, just I am comparing the necessity of this design configuration. Okay. So for this expansion, they have given with the concept called single expansion ram nozzle or Zen nozzle. So this is a futuristic nozzle concept. So we have studied aerospike nozzle and other type of nozzle systems, right? So this single expansion ram nozzle is introduced in all type of CAV conceptual designs, and also DRDO has also implemented this. Single ram means an inclination with single ram. Okay, so single expansion is there, so they have called as single ram nozzle. Okay, so they have used Zen nozzle. So this Zen nozzle is essentially asymmetric external nozzle. So when there is a single expansion ram nozzle, of course it will be an asymmetric, right? It is not going to be a symmetric. If we are having double expansion nozzle, then we can think about symmetric or unsymmetric. So this is obviously we are going to have a asymmetric external nozzle. So this will help us to get maximum thrust, required thrust for our cruise and acceleration vehicle or ARV vehicle. Okay. So we will see about Zen in the upcoming sessions, in depth of upcoming about this single expansion nozzle as well as the 4-body section. So how this 4-body is going to help for aerodynamics, I have to explain that, and also I have to explain how this nozzle, that is Zen nozzle, is going to help for stability. Okay. So I hope you are able to understand how the 4-body is going to help for propulsion system. I hope you can understand that, and also I hope you can understand how the design is going to help for thrust, right? Because that is basic thing. But how the 4-body is going to helpful for aerodynamics, that I have to explain, and how the nozzle is going to helpful for stability, that I have to explain. Okay, so I will explain these factors in the upcoming session. So I am going to give a assignment first of all. So the assignment will be available in the platform itself. So the assignment is nothing but you have to read and write about the cruise and acceleration vehicle. So it will be a 1-page write-up. So since you are having a time up to Monday, right? So I will be giving an assignment in the same platform, and I will share the link with you guys in through mail. So you have to upload that file in the platform itself. Okay, so we will be evaluating that. So the assignment 1 is write about cruise and acceleration vehicle. So whatever you have learned, it should be on your own words. You should not copy paste from internet, because we will be checking plagiarism of all your assignments. Okay, so you should not do copy paste work. So whatever you can, you have understood about CAV, and you can learn through websites or any other research articles, you have to write about that. Okay, so can you provide the books regarding this? Yes, I can provide. So the most important book is Henrich, Ernest Henrich book. So I will share the link. You can look into that. Selected aerothermodynamic design problems of hypersonic vehicle. Selected aerothermodynamic design problems of hypersonic vehicle. Okay. So this is the reference book I am using, and you can also take the reference from there or in any from any other book. Okay. So in mail you will receive a detailed information about assignment. So I need only one page write up. So there should not be a copy paste. Okay, fine. So any doubt in particular today's sessions, it is most welcome. We can discuss about that.